Welcome to the Thors-Kin podcast, episode 3. Thanks for coming out and watching again, guys. I'm Jimmy Rose, not by birth certificate, that'd be fucking stupid, but kind of go by my gamer tag usually when I'm doing these things. But we've got an awesome show lined up for you. So I'm kind of doing the introductions today, which is a bit of a change. So I've got to introduce Al. So before we got...
You don't need to introduce.
Man who needs no introduction. Yeah, before we got into it, I was messaging him saying we've got a first for the podcast today. So because of the first, which I'm going to get to in a minute, I was like, dude, I've got to do the introduction. Please let me do the introduction. I need to host the show. And he's like, dude, what are you on about? I was like, I need to host the show. He's like, we're fucking co-hosts, you dumbass. Of course you can fucking host the show. So I just thought it was this guy is so humble. He gives himself like absolutely no introduction. He's like, I don't think he even introduced himself in the first show. Al, how you doing?
Yo, how's it going? The way I put it actually is you're my podcast wife, not my podcast bitch. So it's our baby.
Anyway, keep it in DMs, yeah.
You can be my bitch if you like.
No. Let's not go there. We've already done this in live in a podcast, but so the first on the show, basically, we're taking our first steps down, kind of representing what the podcast really wants to be. Thors-Kin wasn't just like a convenient innuendo that we could have a laugh about. It's about being a group of nerds coming together and just talking shit, basically. And it doesn't matter sort of what sort of interest you're from. I want to get people on here and now. Gamers, people who are into their comic books, people who are like professors in a random fucking subject. So the first step down that route, basically, I had to get this guy on because he's helped me out when I was doing my own YouTube stuff and everything. Basically, he was always there giving me tips, advice, getting me on his podcasts, giving me shout out, everything. Xbot, how are you?
What's going on, people? Yeah, I am really excited to be on this show. People don't know, a lot of times, we come together kind of like before you started recording this, or before like we do live shows, and there's a bunch of conversation going on. I gotta say, one of the most fun times when kind of like that off-air conversation was with you guys, and you got me completely excited for this show. So I can't wait to dive in with you.
That's good to hear, man.
Oh, we haven't got there yet. An hour into the podcast, it's going to be like, who the fuck are these guys? It's great to have you on Xbot. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah, cheers.
No doubt, man. Me and Jimmy, like, I know he said about support and everything like that, but Jimmy is my friend first and foremost. We went in, played Halo together. That's kind of like my friend initiation. You got to come in and you got to play Halo 5 multiplayer with me. And if we could get along doing that, then everything else is just gravy, man.
It all comes down to if you can call in the right Rex at the right time and not call in the tank 2 minutes before the game ends, we're cool.
Oh,
yeah, we're cool.
You mean like I did last week?
Exactly like you did last week.
Like, I got the tank. Oh, shit, it's over.
It was the beer. It was the beer.
Don't blame the beer. It's just bad tactics.
Always the fucking beer with me.
I don't want to see those notes that you wrote for after you watched all the E3 stuff back and when you were pissed up writing everything down.
Yeah, it's not pretty, but it's funny, so let's do it.
Yeah, so what we're going to do...
I can see his notes drifting off, and all of a sudden he's drawing blocks and a little palm tree, and like, what the hell was I doing last night?
Well, after the whiskey stopped me from typing very well, I realized I can do the speech to text, and it's just a massive blob of weird fucking words that even the phone's created new words for me and everything. My phone was as pissed as I was.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, basically, it was just a happy coincidence. Xbot had to be the first guest I got on. And basically, week 1, we were just trying to survive. Week 2, we had to do Comic-Con because it was all coming out. So week 3, I've been sat here going, Al, let me do games, let me do video games. Come on. Like, throw the bone. And we're doing it finally. So, doing E3 wrap-up, a little bit late, but I don't care. Because it's going to be like, I was thinking earlier, have you guys ever been playing a game and been stuck trying to, like, just timed the jump right to get on the ledge, and you're sitting there think, Jesus Christ, why can't I do this? And someone says, how long have you been playing? 3 fucking hours. Why don't you just take a break and you come back after 5 minutes and you do it first time? Looking at E3 after about a month or so, with all the stories that have been breaking, how they're actually impacting, I thought it might be quite interesting going back and doing an E3 wrap-up after the fact. So I'm going to fire this straight at the at the guest, Xbot. E3 comes on, Xbox start. First thing that we see is Xbox One X. What goes through your head? How do you think the actual reveal... Obviously, we had all the Digital Foundry articles beforehand, but how do you think they handled that first section of the show?
Well, I love what they did graphically when it came to like showing kind of like little pixels and stuff like that and forming it out into characters and stuff when they started showing all this. But my whole thing is they touted 4K resolution unbelievably, and I want a 1X, right? But I don't want it for the native resolution. I've had an Xbox One since the beginning of this generation. Like, native resolution never bothered me. When a game was 900p on my Xbox One and it was 1080 on my PS4, I still had fun with my game. I still thought the games looked incredible. So I'm not really big on that whole native resolution thing. I'm happy that the console's coming out. I definitely want one. I'm planning on getting one, but I want to get it for the improvement in what they call graphical fidelity, the improvement in textures, lighting, shadows, because those are the things, man, that are really gonna pop on your TV. Those are the things that's what's gonna really make the games look better. And like I could give 2 shits if they're gonna upscale. Like, you know, the PS4 Pro does 1440, a lot of times checkerboard to 4K. I could give 2 shits about that. But what they're offering with the One X, and they're showing, you know, the improvement in textures and stuff like that. That's what I want to get. I feel like it was a decent presentation, but man, like they just really they stuck their claws into 4K, and that's around every corner. It was 4K this and 4K that, and I'm like, yo, calm down with that, guys. Like, we were battling at the beginning of this generation, you know, that resolution thing doesn't mean shit. Don't come back and reverse the tables now, and then, you know, tout the things that you were kind of like defending against the beginning of the generation.
Yeah, exactly. Because for all this time, everyone sat there saying it doesn't matter, to kind of then try and take that narrative, it can be a little bit sort of hypocritical. But I think
no, not even a little bit, dude. It's definitely hypocritical. Yeah. Like, I know you're trying to be nice, man. Got that PR going and stuff, but you know me, I share my opinions no matter what. You know, some people are gonna love them, some people are gonna hate them, some people are gonna say I'm full of shit. But either way, these are my opinions. This is what I've seen, and I'm gonna tell everybody. You know.
I think.
Can I just?
Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry, go. No, go on. You say first, because what I've got to say, it's daft. But
no, go on.
I'd rather get the technical side out of the way.
Hit us with daft.
I was just gonna, like, we just pointed out the fact that I was having a few drinks while I was watching this all last night, and I've come up with this metaphor for what Xbox X is, and basically it's Microsoft. Microsoft is a pretty well-endowed guy, all right, and he knows what he's packing, right? So Xbox One was the flaccid but quite quite impressive penis, yeah. And they listen to me, just hear me out, okay? Right? They know what's coming, right? They give it a bit of a tickle, right? They get halfway there. That's your Xbox S, right? Now your Xbox X is that big, rock hard, fucking juicy piece of meat that they knew was coming, right? All I'm saying is, they've had they could have. Do you not think a few years ago they could have just launched with an Xbox X?
Now,
they knew they could probably get there.
Can I ask you a question with this whole metaphor that you're going on? Are you trying to say that Xbox is a grower and not a shower? Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm saying is they've had a plan for a few years to slowly like drip us these consoles that's gradually getting better, but they knew exactly what their end goal was. They knew where they were going to go. They've just pretty much drained us of our money, you know? It's a good way of making a constant upgrade to the same console. Do you hear me? Do you see where I'm coming from with that?
I see where you're coming from. I don't necessarily think it's that. What I think it happened with Xbox. Of course, beginning of the generation, you had Don Matrick and his crew running Xbox, and they wanted to go a certain way. They wanted to put the Kinect in the box. So this way, these developers out there, you got to remember, the Kinect was hugely popular on the 360. Maybe not so much towards the end of its life cycle, but it sold a shit ton on the 360. I believe it's the best-selling peripheral for a console ever. So one of the big kind of like downsets with that is with developers is like, well, we're not going to put any Kinect functions in that because it's not, with every single like gamer that has a 360. So Don Matrick, he was like, you know what, we're going to put the new Kinect in every box. I feel like the different teams had different goals. So when Phil Spencer came in, he came in with his idea for the future of Xbox. Of course, he has to get it approved through Microsoft because Xbox is only a division of Microsoft. Once he got his approval, they started working on, the S and the X. Because I feel this is Phil Spencer's direction with Xbox, and it's a lot different than when we started a generation and Don Matrick's team was heading the whole thing.
Yeah, and then there's the point in there as well that if that was the plan, let's just say Don Matrick was still in charge now, was back then, let's just say the S was the X. Last year, it would have cost an extra sort of 200, 250 on top of that because of what's in there. Well, I say that. They did a lot of it with, like, engineering, didn't they, actually? A lot of it's quite similar.
Oh, they did
parts.
it was a lot of research and development, man. I was completely shocked when they said they were still using at the source Jaguar cores for the CPU, because I was like, there is no way in hell 4K gaming. I mean, if you look at the Pro, they kind of they upclock the CPU over there, but the CPU is a bottleneck on the Pro. So I was like, man, you got Ryzen like right around the corner. I was like, AMD and Microsoft, they work really well together. I was like, man, they're going to put the Ryzen CPU in this thing, and they're going to get it at a discounted price from AMD for all the research and development that they've been doing together. And I was completely shocked when it was like, no, we're still using Jaguar cores, heavily modified, but we're still using those. But I think a lot of people didn't factor in that they have that physical DirectX 12 chip in between the CPU and the GPU that adds, it speeds up a lot of processes. It does a lot of things. It makes games pretty much DirectX 12 like that. It takes advantage of those features without the developer actually putting that stuff in there. And I don't think anybody could have like kind of assumed that or put that in there, when it was just Project Scorpio. Nobody thought about that, like that chip right there, man. No way.
I don't think anyone else would have as well, because I think when people saw what was in the Pro, as much of an upgrade that is, I think a lot of people thought to get the next step up, it had to be actual hardware in there, not just the same stuff, but tweaked the shit out of it. So I think a lot of people's expectations were tempered, and like sort of, I think when it got revealed, I was sort of like on the half, like sat on the fence of, was it amazing because of how they've achieved it, or was it a letdown because it didn't have all the next level stuff? I think it really is, because it's a 0.5 console and it's not next generation stuff. I think that they did well to just get what they've got out of it here. And then all of those new chips, they've bought themselves 2 or 3 years for those chips to come down in price and on bulk and at trade, so that the next one can be that extra jump that I think that portion of people that were disappointed will start to see, that next leap from there. But I think with them, when they actually revealed it at E3, I think going back to what you were saying about shoving 4K everywhere, I think their E3 should have focused pretty much solely on super sampling, because I say solely, they had to sell the 4K, but with all the super sampling stuff, they get all of the textures and all of that on a 1080p screen. And if you've got to bear in mind that most of the people who are getting this, maybe they don't have 4K screens, maybe they don't have maybe they've already got an Xbox.
Yeah,
and they just
I
want
don't have a 4K television, man. And what you're saying right there with the super sampling and stuff, they really need to market that more. Now, I know when it comes to TVs, everybody's switching over to 4K. It is a process, though. And you got to let the gamer know that even though you have a standard HD television, you're still going to see a difference. And you can market that out there. Like, it's so powerful. You can even see a difference on your standard high definition television.
Yep.
I don't see why they don't do that, man.
That would sell so many more than just saying, right, the even if it's like 50% of people, those 50%, here's a console that like does all this extra stuff. Why not go after that full 100% of, okay, you get the extra stuff if you've got 4K, but that 1080p 50% of people, look at all these extra effects that you get. I mean, if they'd have come out and just like showcased Gears 4 with all of the extra lighting and all the god rays and all that kind of stuff, and done a side by side where it had like a slider that came halfway across the screen, then went back a bit, and then went all the way back over the screen again with like the two graphics side by side, that would have just dropped yours, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. All in all, when it came to the presentation, like I said, I liked it. I don't necessarily like the way it looks, or I didn't when it first started. Man,
I was the same.
It looks like an S, just smaller than that. Now, I am impressed that with all the hardware that's in it, that it's actually smaller than the S. But when it went from the original Xbox One to the One S, there was a definite difference, and a lot of people was like, "Well, it's a family of machines, man. They're not going to make it look, too much different than the S." Or what? I was like, "Why not? They already did it with the original Xbox One compared to the S." I was looking for more of a premium look to it, but then again, as I'm looking at it, I also look at like the Surface tablets. I look at the Surface Book and stuff. And they have a very less is more type approach.
Yeah.
If you notice the new Surface Book, I mean, it's all basically a solid color. It's simple yet kind of like elegant, and I can kind of see that kind of transferring over to the X. So it's grown on me a bit more, but I still wish they kind of did more with kind of like the look of it, man.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem, it needed to be white. That's all I'm saying. White consoles for the
really?
Wii.
I wanted like a brushed silver, man. That's what I was thinking.
What I was gonna say was, obviously, like display resolution is improving all the time, and 4K hasn't been with us for that long. What's to say that and come up with smell-o-vision or something amazing that's brand new again? Do you know what I mean? And then Xbox is going to be like, you know what I mean? Rolling out these metaphors, but no, and a brand new concept, a new idea, a new way of looking at TV, which they're all doing all the time. And then Xbox are like, we can make some money out of this. Here's Xbox One, the next one. I mean, this is what I mean. Like, do they know that something more is coming? What can we expect? Is this going to be it for the Xbox One?
No, I think the next step, and everyone's going to be like, no, but that's what VR was supposed to be. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I think Microsoft, and it feels like we're just kind of like branching this topic out here. But when it comes to VR and stuff like that, I think virtual reality, augmented reality, or what Microsoft likes to call MR, which is mixed reality. With what they're doing in the PC space, working with HP and Acer, coming out with like $300 sets that do both VR and AR, I think when they bring that over to the One X, I feel like VR will actually take off a lot more because it's more affordable than what PlayStation gave their consumers, but yet it also does more, and it's only one cord as well, so you're not hooking up like a Predator's wig to your hardware, to your head. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like with the simplicity of it, the price point, and everything put together, I feel like it's actually that ball is actually in Microsoft's corner now And I feel like they can actually kick it off and really get it going. You know?
Xbot, have you ever tried VR?
I haven't yet.
You need
for
to.
people who follow me, you know, my YouTube channel or on Twitter and stuff, you know, Snaps, you know, my better half, she really got into VR. She was really interested in it. And you know, you can only spend so much money on all this hardware and stuff, you know, throughout the year. Well, yeah, I mean, we have dude, we have Switch, we have a couple PS4s, we have more Xbox Ones.
You've got a couple now.
Like
yeah. This secret.
Yeah. Well, I had to get mine, dude. Snaps had her white one in the living room, and like I had to get mine. What happened was that we got a game on the PS4 called 7 Days to Die.
Yeah.
Right? And we wanted to play it together, but there's no split screen. Kind of like that, you know, Halo 5 thing. People are like, oh shit, no split screen or whatever. So at that point in time, you know, we had the funds, and she was like, well, go get yourself one. So I was like, all right, awesome, man. I didn't even think twice. When she says go spend money on yourself, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like,
all right then.
You should have been like 4K TV.
Oh no, those are coming. Those will definitely be coming. But I try to be grounded. I look at what's coming in terms of TV technology and when to actually jump in. I know a lot of people are jumping in. There are 4K TVs out there right now that are fairly cheap. All right, but there's like that async and stuff like that, or that's coming in. There's different TV features that are coming in, you know, between this year and next year that I just want to be able to look at the entire scope and actually get the best one. Because let's be honest here, the first one that's going is Snaps TV. So the first 4K TV we're gonna have is gonna be hers. So I want to make sure that she has one that is gonna be, you know, a good quality for the price, and it's gonna last a while.
It makes sense to wait until holidays as well, because the one, they've already come down, and two, they're all on sale anyway. So
yeah,
but yeah,
Black Friday.
Yeah, wait for Black Friday for TVs. So yeah, just Jesus Christ, this happened last week as well. I don't know whether you listened in, Xbot, but Alex wanted to go on a rant about something, and I just went steer right. Jackknife off the road completely.
Fuck many times you steered us in the wrong direction, motherfucker.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's me.
Well, yo, that's the fun of doing shows like this.
Yeah.
Like, you have the set amount of topics, but you know, hosting them and stuff like that, you never know where it's gonna go, man. You could drift off down this side street over here and get into something else that's actually, you know, really entertaining, really, really good to discuss. And it's one of the reasons why I like doing podcasts, man.
Yeah, I think
it's good.
If we get back into it, I'll go on a rant about VR. But I think VR is like talking about Nintendo. Sometimes it can put people to sleep. Is the second coming of Jesus, but we'll do a separate part on that. So
yeah, we'll steer away from Nintendo.
Let's have a full-on Nintendo cast. Let's like IGN.
No, let's not.
A full-on segment.
Only if you talk about the SNES Mini, man. That like, I could talk about that forever, because it has my absolute favorite game of all time, man. In Super Metroid.
Just get a New Year. Get yourself a New Year.
We had this conversation before, didn't we? And we discussed that I've never played Zelda. I've never owned a SNES. I've never owned. You know, there's so many things that Nintendo was never really my thing. I've been a gamer since I can remember, but Nintendo I've always stayed away from, and James gave me so much shit for it, honestly.
Sonic was better anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, back on track.
Yeah, so once everything was sort of revealed with the Xbox One X, basically, obviously then they showed Forza, which I thought looked absolutely fantastic. What was your guys' thoughts with Forza 7? Alex, shall I fire this at you first? Because I know you've got a little chip on your shoulder with Forza as a whole, even though like I know you love Horizon. But,
I love Horizon, and I've played every single Forza game. But I've got a question for you, James.
What?
How deep do you think my throat is?
What?
Because I feel like Forza have just been slipping that big fucking dick down my throat every single time they've released a game.
Really?
Like, I get I get that they're making changes for this game, but 4, 5, and 6 were pretty much just the same games, and I love them, so I'll buy them. That's what Oh God, I'm so fired. No, I want to see how it develops first before I buy it. It's not a game I'm going to buy straight off the shelf because I want to see how it is first. Because I don't want to make the same mistakes I've made like 3 times in buying a game that replicates the game before and the game before.
I think that's the problem that like motorsport has, is that it is just one class of racing. I know that they had like the Porsche packs, and then they had the NASCAR expansion and stuff. But motorsport is literally that. Whereas with Forza Horizon, I was saying this to you, I think a couple of weeks ago, Al, where Horizon has the ability to literally do whatever they want. They could, Need for like a lot more. They've basically made like a Fast and Furious game. Horizon could quite easily do exactly that, and could get away with it, and no one would ask any questions. They could set it wherever they want. They could have any sort of aesthetic. They could stick tanks in there if they wanted to, and they get away with it. Whereas motorsport sort of has to stick with the same stuff each year and just figure out ways. Mainly, it's graphically. That's why I'm excited. Like with this year, they're focusing a lot on the drivers, so they're gonna start. You're going to be a character in there. You're going to have a career, and they say that they're sort of. I think this came straight from Studio Head. Actually, I think was that they're basically the way that they present the career to you. Well, it's going to be a lot more. It's your character and your journey, rather than click on that tile, get 7 gold stars in there, click on the next one. So I think this might surprise you, to be honest. I really do. I've got faith in 7 to be something special. What do
you think, Xbot?
Well, when it comes to a racing simulator, it's kind of hard to really change it up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have certain like maps and stuff that, certain racetracks that people want from the real life. I think what they're offering here for people who are simulating racing fans is kind of like that huge piñata at like a 4-year-old's birthday party. I feel it just has so much stuff inside of it. I mean, if you like cars, over 700 cars, just look at what they did with the graphics and everything. Now we actually have Porsche, as not like an expansion pack, because with Porsche, they had that deal with EA. That's where their cars really went. And they were, at least Turn 10 was able throughout like past titles to get that expansion where you had to pay for it, because they in turn had to pay like EA and Porsche for the rights to put those cars in the game. So now that's all free. I can get into a 911 right off the bat. I feel if you're a simulation racing kind of like enthusiast, if you're hardcore into that, there's no better place right now than Forza Motorsport. And I can see what you're saying about like 4, 5, and 6 kind of being the same, but I don't know. It's kind of like, why mess with a good thing? Just add more to it. And they've given us more cars. They've given us more tracks. In Forza 7, they're bringing back Maple Valley, which I am ecstatic over, man. Like that was one of the. It was a dev created track, so it's not a real life track out there. But it was one of those tracks that I really like to play. A couple titles back, and they're bringing that back. I think they're adding a lot to it, man, and I'm actually excited to play it. Yeah.
And I would be happy to see a lot more tracks, different things, because I was explaining like Britain is like a huge motorsporting like place, and we've got loads of tracks they could add in America, and like there's only so many times I can do Laguna Seca without wanting to blow my fucking brains out. Do you know what I mean? So let's do something different. Do you know what I mean? So
I was playing Dirt Rally this morning. I got it on Game Pass, and oh my god, Dirt is I've never played a Dirt game before, and it is so good. I think they need to pull a Gran Turismo and add Rally into it, I think that would, if they came back
Then they
with,
can have
with
money.
Forza
They
8
can have it.
with motorsport and rally, and you can split between the two careers, that would be so cool from them.
You know what's crazy? I'm actually I'm one of the few people I know. You guys were talking about Horizon, right? And how good Horizon is, and Horizon 3 is really good. I'm a little concerned with the future of that franchise, though, because here's the thing: like Horizon is supposed to be a simulation / arcade game, right? What I've seen from the second expansion with going Hot Wheels, what I've seen with them, bringing out Hot Wheels cars that aren't real life cars, and then seeing the Fallout car come into it, which is not a real car. The Regalia from Final Fantasy 15, which is not a real car.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Like it feels like they're aiming more arcade side than everything like that. And I'm the only one. Like, I remember what Forza Horizon was when they first announced the first one. It was supposed to be the love of car culture and music, right? So that's what got me pumped for the first one. The second one, they expanded on that. And yeah, they added Fast and Furious, but those were all cars that you can look in real life and be like, oh yeah, that's that Supra right there or whatever. And they added nitrous. With this third one, Blizzard Mountain was freaking awesome. I feel like they're going way too arcade now with putting the orange kind of like Hot Wheel tracks in there and cars that don't exist really unless they're a toy or they're in a game. Like I'm kind of concerned for that.
I played the shit out of Forza Horizon until it got full of young little trolls that ruined it for you. I used to play it online a lot. And do you know what? It was one of those games in between races. You got to kind of race over. And you just like look at the scenery. You'd look around. You'd be like, you'd feel that this was a beautiful game. You could just cruise around on that game and be happy. You know what I mean? And I get that motorsport is going to be a simulator, so I'm not even going to aim no beef at that. But I am just happy that the new one looks and it sounds beautiful as well. So that does have me interested because I watched the video and the sound from that Porsche. It sounded different. It sounded throaty, and it really does sound good. So,
well, Porsche is my favorite car. Porsche is my absolute favorite car, man. If I could have a Porsche sometime in my life, I would be thoroughly ecstatic. And I don't know. I'm excited to get back into Forza. Like Forza 6, actually, they added a track called Lime Rock, and that's actually a track in the state I live in. The state I grew up in, and I was really excited for that, and how they made it look was absolutely amazing. I live in Connecticut in the United States, and there's a bunch of forests and stuff like that around Lime Rock, and to see how they did with like the patches of fog on the hillside with the trees and everything, it looked absolutely incredible. And I don't know, I'm a fan of the motorsport, man. I get into that simulation racer, yeah.
I've got a question for everyone. I'm going to steer it right again. Who likes Terry Crews?
Okay. Terry Crews. Oh.
Old Spice Man.
I love Terry Crews. Yeah, those Old Spice adverts. I used to crease to them, honestly.
Yeah, so I I think we've done Forza to death. Sort of what I was hoping for with the rest of the conference was for them to go from like give us like 3 massive games at the start, and when they had like, I won't say lackluster, but it was like, okay, there's the Xbox One X. I thought it was going to be like roll it out on like some golden plinth and have like strobe lights going everywhere, but they didn't. Or The Rock come out and be like, here is the Xbox One X. But like they didn't have any of that. Yeah. But then Forza looked like absolutely amazing. And I thought they were going to go into something big again. And then they had just like a string of
Dude,
they showed Go on.
After Forza, they showed Metro, man. How?
Oh, it was straight after Metro,
oh my God,
wasn't it?
Yes.
Dude,
Metro.
Metro.
I think it was after that then.
Dude, I think Metro looked better than Anthem, in my opinion, man. I am a huge Metro fan, and the stories are so in-depth. There's like layer upon layer of like it's like a living world, man. You have people living underground. You have different factions, Nazis, communist Russia, kind of like the independent group. So you have all that kind of conflict going on. You have like the supernatural conflict with if you're going down these tunnels over here, they're like haunted by ghosts. Then you have like these black figures that showed up after the apocalypse, and what the hell are they doing? There's so much to that franchise, and to see graphically what they did with this next Metro, oh my goodness,
it looks
man.
so good. Literally, I was figuring out what it was. I think everyone has said this time and time again, but I was like, oh my god, it's like, has Fallout, has Bethesda just gone, you know what, we're going to have our own Horizon version of the game? Like, we've got our Motorsport where you've got VATS, and then we're going to have Horizon, which is just full-on first-person shooter. And then it was only at the end, like, it took me a while to figure out, so I've not really played much Metro, when it was like the dog ghosty things that he was fighting, like the whatever the hell they are, the mutant rat things. And
crazy fucking
things. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, I think this is going to get a lot of people who never played the first couple not caring about the first couple. I think they're going to be like, oh, what's this new franchise?
Yeah. It's cool that like when it came to the first one, there was a lot of glitches, there were a lot of bugs in the first one, and they just started with that game, but the story and what was going on in the game, there are certain games that they have glitches and stuttering and stuff like that, but the story just drives you through it.
Yeah.
And I feel the first Metro did that. The second Metro really kind of made up for the previous kind of like glitches and stuff in the first one. They really smoothed it out, and they really polished that game. And then to see like that, man, it's just like a huge leap forward going from those two to this third one. And I already know the story is going to be amazing. Like the first two didn't let me down. I mean, they're going off a Russian novel or a Russian series of novels. And so it's not like they can veer off too far. Like they have books to kind of bring them back to that. And so I think it's just a win-win all the way around. I'm excited for that game to come out, man.
It was one of the few games that I've started to play and was just like, holy crap, I feel like I'm in this world. Like, there are some ones that drag you in and you're just thinking, I would not like this to be real life right now. I am not enjoying this. That was one of those games where I was just like, oh, I was reading all the stuff in the background. It took me back to when I was like, when you first got a 360 and you first put Crackdown in, which we'll get onto it. But like, you put Crackdown in and it's just like, oh, I can lift this up. This is the first time I've ever been able to pick something up randomly from the side of the road. And you start playing about and you can see if you can break stuff. I was doing that in Metro, just looking behind all like the tables and what was going on behind like the bed where someone was like, oh, I've been attacked and shit like that, and he's bleeding out on the bed, and I'm just there just like, oh, I wonder what this note says. Just like no help to the guy whatsoever.
Dude, like what?
I've never played.
Dude, you get captured by the like. There's certain points in the game where you get captured by the Nazi faction, or you get captured by the communist faction, and how they represent like those areas of the Metro. For people who don't know, that is the Russian kind of like subway system, and a huge nuclear apocalypse happened, and a bunch of people were forced to now live underground, and dude, the communist party, they got the communist group like down pat, like, sacrifice the one for the many, and their ideology and everything like that. You really get immersed in that world, man.
Yeah,
well, I will definitely want to go back and look at the other two because of this trailer. If the other two are anything like the trailer I saw last night whilst having a few whiskeys, I'm definitely going to go for that.
I got stuck on the first one where you started going down this like you win like a mine cart thing, and you've got to press the buttons to do like the pulley system, and you've got these wolf things chasing you, and they jumped onto the side, and they literally were just stood there. The body had no animations, and the arms were just like going up and down like Lego men, and at that point I was just like, oh. So you might not get on with it that much, but like if you can let the story drag you in, they suck you in. They're on.
But that scene in the trailer where that big ass thing stands up and he's got the crossbow and he aims it and he shoots it and it does nothing. And I was just thinking, nah, fuck no. That thing was
Run,
huge.
motherfucker.
So impressive. Yeah, run.
Metro done. Basically, what I wanted to do, just skip past a few, because there was loads of like random, like so many little games in there, like slotted in between a few of the big ones. We can do this in whatever order you guys want to do it in. We've got Crackdown, we've got Assassin's Creed, and we've got Anthem that I want to hit. Who wants to go first?
Let's do Assassin's Creed. That's a quick and easy one. It's a format that everyone is familiar with, so I think we should start with Assassin's Creed.
Cool. Right, with Assassin's Creed, my main bit with this one, right? I've got Syndicate. I didn't really play loads into it. I liked the early ones, and I know everyone's going to be like, the first ones were amazing. I loved Black Flag. That was the one thing that the biggest Assassin's Creed one that got me into it. And I think the reason is that I like escaping with my games, and with it set in Egypt, I like Blue Skies games, like that you can just go around and feel good in. And I think with Assassin's Creed this year, with them taking a year off, they can reset the story. They can experiment with whatever the hell they want to story wise. But I'm really not fussed about it. I just want a horse and just to go around, just sightseeing. I just want to visit the Sphinx. I want to see how uncorroded that is in the year like 0 BC. And just explore what they've got there. I mean, I've got a few issues with like the way that the combat looks a little bit more Dark Soulsy this year. Like I thought they were going to get more and more Batman rather than go full on sort of Dark Souls and with the shield and everything. But we'll see. We'll see how it is. I think to it.
I liked the eagle and the fact that you could use the eagle and control it. That looks fantastic for me. I think it looks colourful, it looks vibrant. I'm excited about it, but I'm a big fan of the games. The only game I didn't really like was Unity. So if it's anything better than that, I'm happy. It's a franchise.
You set the bar pretty low. We've got to jump higher than a sack of steaming pile of shit.
It was. Oh my god, I swore so much to that fucking game.
As long as it works.
No, I like that. And like I've said to you before outside the show that even though it's set in Egypt, you've got to remember that there's two different time frames. So if we're in Egypt, they could be moving the story on in the present day in any direction they want to. So the possibilities are endless with this game, I feel.
Yeah, I hope the bits outside the Animus aren't really floaty and like wading through mud. So I wouldn't mind them like mixing the Animus parts with the like inside and outside of the Animus together, but having the outside just as much of a game as the inside, but like the same controls. Don't have it as separate add-on that's like, well, we're going to use this bits to push the story on. If they're going to do it, just like embrace it. Like have a kick-ass guy on the outside who's using gadgets and stuff, and have that as. I don't want them to do that. I want it all in Animus. I want it all to be in Egypt. But if they're gonna do it, why not embrace that? Have it like a spy stuff outside of it. Xbot, what's your thoughts on Assassin's Creed? Are you excited? You don't give a shit about it?
I'm looking at it cautiously. All right. I wasn't a big fan. I liked Black Flag. I thought Black Flag was a kind of like a good title in between, like, 3 and Syndicate and all that good stuff. I thought all the other ones were kind of like rubbish, per se. I feel like when they decided that they were going to do Assassin's Creed, like one new title every year, I feel like they started watering down a story-driven game, and it kind of showed in the games that they put out there. My biggest games when it came to the Assassin's Creed franchise, the games I love are Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. And I feel that with this Origins, they got to go back to the heart of what made 2 and Brotherhood so good. Just kind of like the pacing of the game, the surprises, the twists, and stuff like that. If they can do that, if they can kind of go back to the heart of those 2 titles and bring it with this Assassin's Creed, it'll be great. As far as what I've seen so far, like the background looks really good. Some of the player models kind of look a little iffy to me. I saw a couple cross-eyed people in there, and so I'm not looking at it as a day one buy. A lot of like bigger fans of the franchise, I'm gonna wait and see when you guys go out and you get the game and you put gameplay on YouTube and stuff like that, come out with reviews and stuff. I want to see what you guys think about it before I actually invest my $60. But it's a good thing that they actually decided to take a year off. So we just got to see how the story unfolds when the game releases, and that's pretty much how I feel, man.
Got the biggest potential having that year off and coming back. If they screwed this one up, it's gonna just fizzle into like the category of who gives a shit of franchises. I think
Assassin's Creed could be done.
Yeah, it could
be absolutely done,
and that's not necessarily a bad thing because that paves the way for like, you know what, we need to go back, and if we're struggling with this like historical thing, maybe there's a game where you can have all the parkour stuff back. Let's look at Prince of Persia again. Like, if it does die off, I don't really care because it just opens up a new niche for something else to come back. So it's going to do what it does.
I'm going to slap both of you on the back of your head right now. I think Assassin's Creed could go on forever and ever, and I would want it to as well. But I do agree with Xbot about the depth in the storylines from the earlier ones, and I think that's because you had a great storyline with Ezio in 2 and Brotherhood, and you also had the gripping storyline with Desmond and the way they run along together. And I think that gripped people, and they got rid of Desmond in quite a despicable and horrible way. It was just like, yeah, he's dead now. And I would like them to do something like that again. I mean, that scene where Desmond and Ezio they acknowledge each other and they talk to each other. Oh my God, I was crying. I was cold sweats. I was shaking. It was an emotional experience for me, and that's because I was invested in the storyline. So yeah, Xbot, I absolutely agree with you on that. You've had a year off to write a good storyline and to make a great game. Let's not disappoint the fans.
Totally. Yeah, exactly, and that's what I hope they don't do that, man. When it came to Desmond, like Desmond and Ezio, in my opinion, they're like the face of Assassin's Creed. They spent so much time polishing those characters out, giving you more than one title with these characters, with 2 and Brotherhood. But let's face it, it was all the same story. It was all one story. But it needed 2 games to really, really put it out there. And I hope they put that detail back into it, man.
Yes. So it's one of those games that we'll look forward to, but not necessarily rush out to the shops to buy.
I reckon so. I reckon so. I'm day one though on Crackdown. I don't care if they showed it off shit. Like, that game is just gonna be so fun to play. Hashtag fun. Xbot, I know you love that one. Like, we were talking like before about like offline and everything about with Crackdown, with it just it's one of those games with it being a sandbox, you just get drawn so into it where you're just playing about with the tools that are given to you, and with the what's the name now, with the 100% persistent destruction. I know that's only in the multiplayer, but even in the single player, it's just going to be so fun to go around and just messing with the way that they've built almost like a nemesis system, almost, with the gang leaders. I know it's not necessarily that, but how they react to their facilities that you destroy.
Dude, nobody's gonna face a gang member the same way, because you're agitating them to the point that whatever you're doing in the world that you're going against them with, at some point in time, they're gonna get so pissed that they're gonna come at you.
Yep.
And you could be at the rooftop, you could be kind of like in the sewer, you could be over by the docks. Like, it's a truly kind of like make your own experience type game, which is really cool.
I think it's going to give people like water cooler moments where I know that I've spoke to multiple people about with like Shadow of War, where there's some orcs in that are very similar that you meet at certain times, but they can go down drastically different paths, and then the rest of them are just fleshed out with completely random ones. And it's just like, what did you do with such and such at a certain point in the game? And he can be like completely different. Like I just burnt him because he was an absolute pussy against fire. And then someone else is like, he turned into a tank and like he mauled me and everything. Like that's, I think people are going to get the same moment with Crackdown. Like you just said, you could be on the rooftops at one point and the main boss comes at you there, which is going to be completely different if you're at a later stage in the game and you're at the agency tower or something. I think people's biggest moment is as soon as that multiplayer gets out there and you can start blowing up skyscrapers. I think it's gonna really sort of like just kick a lot of people up the ass of where the industry can go and what can happen with games, rather than just being like from A to B. You play the games within that realm of mechanics of what the developers give you, or build 100% destructibility and like do the anti-PR thing of need to be connected to the cloud because we just need to nowadays, and it opens up all of this extra stuff that you can. I'm so hyped for it. So fucking hyped,
Dude. One thing I like when you talk to like Sumo about the game, that's the development team.
Yeah.
They say, because people are kind of got a little confused with single player, multiplayer, complete destruction, use the debris, everything's falling apart, all that good stuff. And with the single player, it's not like that. And the way Sumo put it is, well, in the single player campaign, you're trying to save the city, is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So why have that complete destruction and tearing down all these buildings if you're trying to save the city from this corporation that has its grips on it? Whereas in the multiplayer, you're basically, everything is destruction. It's
Fuck 'em.
Yeah, everything.
Society.
It's like two separate games, like slammed into one. And the cell shading, what they've done to upgrade the cell shading from this compared to previous Crackdown titles, the game looks absolutely amazing. You have a jetpack now that you didn't have before, where you can literally jet forward in the air. You didn't have that in the first two Crackdowns. And just everything as a whole, this game looks like it's going to be a great title. And to me, this is a day one buy when it comes out. So everybody who's going out to get your 1X, better remember this game Crackdown. Otherwise, you're going to have to go back to the store afterwards. Once you see everybody having fun with this game, you're like, damn, man, I really want it. You're going to have to waste gas and do another trip. Might as well get it when you first get your 1X on day one.
Yeah. So Crackdown, a must buy then.
Yeah,
definitely.
Definitely a must buy on Crackdown. I think think that's going to be the one thing that gets me out and buying an X before. I want to do a 4K TV and then an Xbox One X, but if I get that first, I think I'm going to be like that with Crackdown 3 bundled in, definitely. What about Anthem?
Ooh.
What about
They can have all my money.
This for me, like Anthem was just, it was obviously it's filling the same niche as Destiny, but with Destiny, like I've only got so many hours in the day to put towards gaming, and I try and cram in as much as I can at night time. If I'm lying in bed or something, I stick my Xbox on. But like I've only got 2 friends anyway. And if only one has Destiny, I'm fucked from the get-go. So like I need people in there, and it's just one of those things that, because you've got to play it every night, I don't want to come home from work and do another job. So like I need something. I want that in my life, but I don't know if I can put the time to one side. But we're looking at Anthem, just with it being third person, just opens up the visual for the aesthetics of the world, and with it being the javelin suit, it makes you look like you're going to feel like a mix between Iron Man and War Machine. Same thing, right? But dude, I'm there.
Well, that scene on the trailer when you see the guy walking up to the suit and climbing in, and you can see all the padding on the inside of the suit and putting his legs and everything, Dude, I was so fucking hard from that moment, and I hadn't even seen the javelins fly yet. And just those little bits of details got me so excited. And then that chick in the suit jumps off the ledge and starts flying through that beautiful environment.
Dude,
Oh my God, I was
that was a jaw-dropping moment right there, because you're like, all right, she's looking at the landscape and everything like that. It looks pretty and stuff, and then she just jumps like, oh shit, that's how you take off. That's how you get into the world. Oh my goodness.
And it was fantastic. And we were talking before the show about how we hope that the world is as open as it looks, because obviously we've been fooled with games like Halo and stuff where it looks open, but in actual fact you're kind of being guided to the same route, but maybe through a hole in a cave or something that might be slightly different. But this looks like it's going to be vast and open, and you can take different routes and plan your missions with your buddies and stuff. That to me is phenomenal.
I don't know if it's going to be as open as like you think right now. See, here's the thing. 343 did something absolutely genius with Halo 4, and I think that's the Halo you were talking about, where it looked massively open, but in all actuality, it was a very linear game. Now, what I'm looking at with Anthem is kind of like picture like either veins or like tree branches. I see kind of like you being able to branch off this way. It still kind of stays within that almost kind of like different size hallway aspect to it. But I do know in the presentation, like the two people in the javelin suits came together and they're like, well, did you go down that tunnel right there? They're like, yeah, no, we didn't, but let's wait for our friend because they have to level up as well. So I kind of see it kind of like branching off.
Almost like a network of paths, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. Not just like a really just like big open world, but you have like different paths that you can take throughout it, which I mean, that's good for me. Like that keeps the visuals up in the background. It keeps you immersed in the game, and you still have different ways to go and kind of explore.
And it also, sorry, go on.
Literally, that was all I was going to say. What are you going to say?
I was going to say it does open my eyes up to multiplayer. Like that environment on a multiplayer scale, it's got so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I want to say, like, all in all, like there's a huge amount of potential with this game. I feel like EA is kind of like putting all their chips in on this game. And, you know, when they do that, when they really focus in, they usually come out with quality titles, man. And from what we've seen so far, we haven't seen a lot. From what we've seen, has me like really kind of like pique interest to see more. And you know, we have a while before this game comes out, so you know, more gameplay is going to come out, more details, and it's got me to the point where as soon as I see details dropping, like that's the first place I'm going to see exactly what they're doing with this game and where they're going with it. But it looks great so far, man.
I think with Mass Effect dying off, I think they've realised that they'll have known this before, because obviously how much work they've done. But I think they've realised that this is their Star Wars, and if they can push it, like, I'm not saying it's going to be on the same scale, but it looks like one of those Star Wars-y, Halo-y type worlds that, you know what, if they could put enough lore in the background of it, they're going to get just as many people. I think it's got the potential to be probably not as big as Destiny, because it's not got you know, the Call of Duty fan base behind it, but in its own way, I think you're going to get people as passionate about this as people are as passionate about Destiny.
Nice. And now another thing, when they come out with DLC for Anthem, which I know that's really far down the road, EA, please do not do what Destiny does and don't leave people to the side and not support the original game and kind of like force people to get the DLC and stuff. Like, don't do that. If you're gonna challenge Destiny, you have to go into the opposite route from what Bungie and Activision have done with that.
And they literally have, like, with the hub, it's first person instead of third, and then out in the world, it's third instead of first person. Literally stand for that. Be the opposite. Do they probably can't do free DLC, but don't have like player resets or have like DLC that you, if you've got the base game, you're paying full price and DLC price if you come in late. don't make the same people that already bought the base game have to buy the full game and the DLC locked together, like before they revisited how Taken King was sold. All of that kind of stuff. If they take care of their player base from the start and don't do things like Ubisoft did, where they're like, oh, there's an exploit, let's ban people. Just take care of it. I just want to see one of these games actually have decent praise and people love it, rather than just be like, I'm addicted. Like, there's a difference between love and addiction, and I want this to stand for people praising it for being a good game.
All I know is with this being out and with Battlefront 2, EA is just going to print money, aren't they?
Oh my goodness, man! Just give them the keys to the Federal Reserve over here in the United States, because that's pretty much what it's going to be. You know what's good? You know what's good about all this when it comes down to it? You know, a couple years back, EA was put in the same boat as Activision when it comes to money grubbing publishers. And they have really worked on their image and stuff like that. And not so many people are looking at them like that anymore. Like, I feel like they've really kind of turned that image thing around. Maybe not 180. Maybe it's like at 143 right now. But with how they're going to handle Anthem, and then, of course, you know, Battlefront 2 and stuff like that, like this is going to maybe head them back into that whole 180 and have people really not put them in the same boat as Activision anymore.
I reckon so. As soon as people get their hands on Battlefront 2 with free DLC, that's it. People will forget about the old EA. I think with everything they're doing with EA Access, with adding stories in sports games. Like, I don't want to get massively into it because I get so bored talking about fucking FIFA or Madden. But, like, they're adding stories to sports games. Like, they're pushing franchises forward that they could just get away with just putting the same shit out, and they'd be the only people.
Which they do.
They do. But PES isn't going to knock FIFA off. Pro Evo Soccer. They could just put out the same FIFA, but they added a story. They could do the same with Madden, but they added a story into it. They're doing a lot of stuff right, I think. EA.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
But
and let's not forget, like, EA over the years have damaged their reputation and repaired it so many times. They've shown that they can do it. So watch this.
Yeah, all it takes is a bit of good leadership to get you out. I think they have that with lanky streak of piss guy that's leading them at the moment. I can't remember what his name is, but I wanted to move off Xbox as well. I wanted to get onto some Sony stuff. We've got obviously all Uncharted DLC. It was all stuff from last year, but this was because Xbox had lots of littler games, and I was expecting a few massive heavy hitters which they did have because of the whole pushing the graphics narrative this year. I think that the Sony conference struck a chord a little bit more with me this year, which is weird because I've literally all I have is an Xbox. But I was
shoot! Somebody's going to be multi-console by the end of the year.
I will. Now, yeah, God of War. One word is that it's maturing, and I think it's maturing in all the right ways. I know we were going in on this before the show, Xbot. You were saying about with the kid and the father and the camera angles, all the changes coming together that you like in the look of it.
Oh yeah, and like I know a lot of like the God of War faithful, a lot of them are calling like that whole kid thing, and they're saying they don't like it. But if you go back and you check the dialogue within the presentations that they have given you, it seems like there's more of an aspect to this kid than people are thinking. People are saying, well, Kratos is not a babysitter. I think I see this kid like being absolutely necessary when it comes to these new gods and knowing them and living in that world, and I feel like Kratos might need him at this point in time, not necessarily want to teach him anything, but need him there to kind of guide him through like these Norse gods or whatnot. And it's interesting to me. I'm new to the God of War thing. All right. I only played God of War 3 remastered. I'm happy that they're changing the camera as a new person to God of War. And I like that it's kind of like an older more mature Kratos. Like his anger is brewing on the inside, but he's able to stop it at certain points because he knows like he fucking needs that kid. He might not be able to stand him right now, but he needs him. I like that aspect, man.
The little shit.
Reminds me of old man Logan.
Yeah, exactly like that. Like an old man, like the Wolverine in his prime was absolutely berserker crazy, right? But as he got older, like the anger went more inside, and he knew at certain points he really couldn't, and it was a conflict within him. Like he couldn't let that anger out, but it's like, damn, I just want to choke you, wring your fucking neck right now. But yeah, I can see that, man. I'm definitely into it, dude.
Yeah, my big one with obvious choice, but my big one with Sony was Spider-Man. I wanted I wanted to go
the Spider-Man conference.
It was so good though. Like my biggest thing with Spider-Man was we've had like what now? Is this 5th or 6th open world Spider-Man game? I think we had 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's been one for each film, hasn't there? So this is the 6th open world Spider-Man game we had since that first one. I know that's going back quite a few years, but like we've had this game over and over again. I didn't want the same thing, and when we saw the PS Pro reveal, and they had, I think it was at the same time they had that Spider-Man trailer. I was watching it thinking, right, all I don't want is to see Spider-Man swinging through the city, land on a taxi, and punch generic goon number 5 as he appears in the credits. Through the window. And what did we see? Spider-Man swing through a city, land on the top of a taxi, and punch generic goon number 5.
Oh, no, but hold up.
Whoa.
Okay.
However, the one that we just saw, I jizzed. Oh my god, it looks amazing. I don't care about QTEs. If that's how a game's built, I don't give a shit about QTEs. I don't care about swinging around the city or anything like that. Like if they steer this game down a story and they deliver a proper comic book film to you, oh, dude, it's gonna be so good.
Oh, dude, man, it's one of the like when me and O-Snaps we picked up our PS4s. I'll let you know it was for a game called Gang Beasts, which by the way, PlayStation Double Fine, it's not out yet. What the hell is going on? But I was like, oh man, I actually get to, like now I have the option to get Spider-Man and what they've shown. I know people have been talking QTEs, but you know, how else are you gonna fully flesh out being Spider-Man? You know what I'm saying? Like when that crane's falling, do you really want to be off the rails, free form, trying to chase after this crane as it's like falling to like no, they did that cinematically perfect, right? There's so much open world to that I don't think people are really seeing.
They could do the Jedi Academy thing, actually. Just thinking about it, where you had like one analog stick for each arm, and you could do that, and right triggers or grips, and it is all manual. Maybe people want that instead.
Hey, you sure? I don't know.
That would piss me off.
When it comes down to it, the developers, Insomniac, they are known for making quality games. All right. My first game I ever played from them was Sunset Overdrive, and they did an incredible job, not just with the visuals, but with the gameplay, the gunplay, everything like that. It was fresh. It was new in terms of, you know, having to traverse and not just stand there and shoot at things and stuff. Then I played Ratchet and Clank on the PS4. Absolutely love their remake to that as well. They're a quality dev, and I feel so at ease with them with the Spider-Man franchise, because Spider-Man is my absolute favorite comic book hero, and I feel like we're actually going to get a decent Spider-Man game, and it's been years, man. Years, and I can't wait, man. I thought it was going to come out this year too. I was a little upset about that.
You've got to expect delays. Anything that sort of Sony sort of gets behind, it's always got delays with it, but it's kind of swings and roundabouts. Would you rather it get delayed or cancelled? Would you rather the investors kind of go, you know what, take your time with it, put that polishing touch on it? I reckon it's going places, but unless anyone wants to add anything there, I wanted to kind of steer this off in like a side subject. Obviously, we know that there's going to be a lot of Marvel games hitting. We know that they're taking things video game wise as seriously as the MCU at the moment. What Marvel games do you guys want? If you could have anything.
Oh wow.
I would like a fully fledged X-Men movie with all the X-Men, and they're going to use as a team. That'd be so fucking good.
A movie.
A game.
I thought you said movie. I was just like, everyone wants a decent X-Men movie, man.
No, I just think it's great. I mean, I know you've got this Marvel Universe thing popped up on Xbox, and it's the most boring thing ever. If you had something similar to that, but on a better scale, something where you'd have to use a different X-Men to get yourself through a different situation, and you really use your head, and similar to Spider-Man, you know, and where you got to go to a certain place to a mission, but you got to take a certain X-Men with you. Yeah. That'd be so fucking cool. I'd love that.
I think my main one, I'll give Xbot to sort of like have a few moments more to think. With obviously Crystal Dynamics are, correct me if I'm wrong, is it them that are doing the Avengers game, Xbot?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Which that's going to be crazy too.
Yeah, and if it was them that did, if it was that particular studio that did Just Cause, with the DLC that they released there, they turned you into War Machine. They put the minigun on your shoulder with the jetpack. They have the groundwork already to do an awesome Iron Man game. And I don't know whether you've played the old Iron Man games, but it was like shoulder buttons to go up and down, and you had like a lock-on system, like a Z-lock. And it led to this clunkiest, horrible movement system ever. But with the way that they did Just Cause, it was all forward motion, and you graduated up and down with the analog stick like you were flying. They could do such an awesome Iron Man game. That developer in particular.
Nice. I can't wait. I can't wait to say mine now.
Go on.
All right, you guys went kind of mainstream here. All right, Iron Man, all that good stuff. I'm gonna go semi deep into the Marvel universe. I would love to see a Silver Surfer standalone video game. Now, the thing is, when it comes to Silver Surfer, for people who don't know, he became Silver Surfer, a herald of Galactus to save his family and his world from Galactus. So there's an emotional standpoint to that, right? Now, all of a sudden, when you're the herald of Galactus, when you're out there, you know, searching for planets for Galactus to consume, you have all this universal power, but you're on a leash. You see what I'm saying? So if they do the story from how like he saved his home world, became kind of like this all-powerful dog on a leash for this planet eater, and then how he broke free from that and possibly start a franchise from that, because then afterwards you can make other titles where, you know, he can team up with other Marvel characters and go in and do different fights with different villains and stuff. But to see the Silver Surfer story in a video game format, there's so much you can do with that. And dude, I would be right in line to pick that up, man.
That could be
interesting
good.
Choice.
That could have been good, yeah. Right. So, Expert, did you get all the stuff that I sent you before? I sent you like this massive list of stuff. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. I know you've been playing a lot of Fortnite.
Oh my goodness!
It's one of those games that before, with Epic Games doing it, the look of it was like it reminded me as if Borderlands and Sunset Overdrive had a baby with State of Decay. Basically, it was one of those games that I was just like, oh, I need this
in that whole
life.
scenario, Minecraft should have been watching as that whole thing was taking place, and then I think you might have the right idea there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it, because it's out. So I wanted to do like a spotlight kind of thing, and I know you've been playing it, so I'm going to pick your brains while you're here. Run us through what it is, because again, it's not like a full price game, is it? I think it's a little bit cheaper than.
Standard edition is $40 right now. Yeah. It will be free to play next year, and from what I'm hearing, it'll be around November of 2018 is when it's going to go into the free-to-play model. So me and O-Snaps picked it up. We got the standard edition, $40, and we get to play basically over a year before it goes free to play, which I think is worth it personally. As far as what the game is, of course, you could go through the story real quick. This mysterious storm comes out of nowhere, and as this storm builds, it basically takes out like 90 to 98% of the world's population. Like, it's a worldwide storm. Lightning strikes, these zombies pop up, and basically the majority of people in this world die. Now, you are a hero. You go in as a hero. There are people surviving, and you basically have to go out there, try to find survivors. There is this storm shield that you get, and it's put into a certain place, and this is where the Minecraft kind of aspect comes into play, because you get to build your own home base around that shield. You got to make sure that these zombies, these husks, they're actually called husks, but these zombies don't kill your shield, because if they kill your shield, the storm will consume that one safe haven that you're in. It's third person, it's tower defense, it's upgrade crazy. Like, you can upgrade just about so many things in this game. You can upgrade weapons, traps to put into your home base. You can upgrade your character. You have a skill tree, a resource tree. You can even upgrade your survivors to help give you boosts in the game. This game has a lot of stuff to it. But the main thing is, customizing your home base to do your shield defense kind of like missions. So, you have a shield defense mission where you kind of spread your shield out even more. You get more power, you spread your shield out even more. Husks come and try to take that thing out. So you build your home base with traps, however way you want to protect it. And in between that, there's smaller missions. But these smaller missions put you out in different parts of the city and stuff like that. And you can explore absolutely every part of this city and gather as much resources as you can fill in your backpack. Metal, wood, stone, to build whatever you need to build for your fort or whatever missions that you're doing. There is so much to this game that when you first play it might feel a little overwhelming. I will say that over time, getting used to the different menus and what you can upgrade, it gets a lot easier in that aspect. But the gameplay itself is very, very addicting, and you can play with up to 3 of your friends, so it's 4-player co-op. It's just a lot of stuff, man.
Nice. So is each match, if you go in with like one other person, does it match make you with 2 other people?
You can have it like that. You can have it to where, like, say me and Jimmy are in the game and we want to do like his shield defense mission. He can open it up to have any like 2 random people join in if they want to, or me and him can take it on by ourselves, like, and see if we can do it with all the traps he's laid out on his base and stuff like that, to see if we can actually pull it off as a 2-person team instead of a 4-person team. Not only that, they support the game as well with like these pinata type things. So every time you level up and you're getting skill points and stuff like that, you earn something called llamas, because the pinatas are in the form of llamas. And nice. You knock the llamas and you can get like weapons. You could get schematics for weapons, because weapons do break down over time. All right. But as long as you have the schematics for them, you can always build another one. And
I need to get this.
There's so much.
Pulled the trigger already.
Dude, it came out of nowhere. Like, they talked about it back in, like, I think it was like 2012, maybe.
Yeah.
It's the first game to be developed with the Unreal Engine 4. It was the very first game to start development there. And it's just, it's been years since, we heard anything. And then all of a sudden it's just like, hey, it's here.
Yeah, there's been no promo for it, anything. Literally, I was just scrolling through the games that are coming soon on the dashboard, and I was like, what the hell's this? It's got like such a shit name. And I was looking through the pictures, and I thought, okay. And then, like, it's got a nice look to it. And then I looked at some of the videos, and I thought, because I'm massively Ark and things like that, and anything tower defense-y I like. So when I was looking at like some of the developer documentaries on it, I was just thinking, oh, yeah, I could get in. I probably shouldn't get it because when Ark first came out, when I was building stuff, I almost became single. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Triple digits. Well, yeah.
See, the funny thing was, O-Snaps really got into this game, and then I kind of came along with it. Like it looked interesting, and then when she was like, "All right, we're getting it," we went in and started playing it. It's one of those games that you get so involved in this game, you'll be like, man, I'm just doing like a round, like just doing one round. I'm just going to do this one mission and then I'm going to be done. Like 4.5 hours later, you're like, wow, so much time just passed. And it still feels like you just started the game. You can go for another 4.5 hours, no problem.
That's such a sign of a good game, though, when you can just lose track of time, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just wrapping that up then, basically. I think I want to move on to something a bit more highbrow than slaying zombies. Not that slaying zombies is anything wrong. One thing that I'm really loving, I know we're only on like episode 3. I'm really loving that each week we're finishing the show on something that we can just completely ignore geekdom and everything like that and just discuss something completely out of the blue. Each week we're doing what we're calling Dickhead of the Week. This is something that Al, you were really wanted to get done. You can go highbrow, you can go lowbrow, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. Al, what's your Dickhead of the Week?
Last week I insulted the whole of Japan, so I went very highbrow last week.
Yeah, disclaimer, if you get offended, fuck you.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why I insulted the whole of Japan, go and have a look at our Facebook page. The story is there. Okay, so I've gone quite lowbrow with this one, but it really annoyed me. I don't know if you saw it, James. I will send you the link. But there was a video of a traffic warden in Wolverhampton here.
Oh, right, by us.
And there's this guy, he's parked on a car park. It's inside a bay. Okay. And she's writing this guy a ticket and he can't understand why he's getting a ticket. And she's going, these are no longer bays. We don't use these anymore. And he's going, but the paint's still on the fucking tarmac. He's going, it's in a fucking bay. Like, I parked this car in a bay that's on your car park. And she's writing him a ticket. And she is fucking horrible. She's not like giving him the benefit of the doubt or, thinking, oh, okay, I'll get onto my boss. I will sort this so this doesn't happen again. She's just blatantly like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm a job's worth. I've got nothing better to do in my life. I'm writing you a ticket. And this guy is just short. I mean, he's following her around and he's filming in her face and she's getting annoyed by that. Fair enough. But she does.
Fucking traffic wardens. They get so much shit.
I mean, if he'd overstayed on a car park or if he was parked in the wrong place, I'd understand. But it's in a fucking bay. It shows you on the video. It's there. The paint's still on the tarmac. So this woman had no right writing this guy a ticket. And I wanted to punch her through the fucking phone. I'm joking. I don't condone violence. Anyway. But no, I was mortified by this. The poor guy like getting a ticket for literally no reason. So yeah, that's my ticket. I thought I'd go a bit lower brow than I did with Tepco last week.
Cool. Right.
So that is mine.
My one, I'm going to go really, really far field here. This is going to make people uncomfortable. I've gone with a bit of a crazy one, but right.
Ooh.
Okay. Right. I don't even know whether to do this one. I've just gone back into Twitter and lo and behold, the tweet's been deleted. Right. So basically, I was flicking through Twitter the other day, doing my usual thing of just chilling out, seeing what's going on in the game and I come across this one tweet, and I dig into the comments like you do sometimes, and I literally couldn't believe what I was seeing. This girl has got so much shit from this. I think that's why the tweet must be gone now. Basically, it was a tweet about a recent case of philia. So, bum right there, big change in tone. Basically, this girl was
Thors-Kin, guys.
Yeah, basically, this girl was sitting there saying, and everyone was rightly so slating him, and this girl pipes up with a tweet about how in school apparently she was taught that it is its own sexuality by a teacher who had a doctorate in human behavior and sexuality and all that kind of stuff. And I was sitting here just with literally my jaw was on the floor. I couldn't believe that that somewhere in the world, some school, whether or not this is like an actual thing, that this is being taught. And I understand that, okay, if this guy's got a doctorate in something, maybe there's some merit to like the science behind it. But basically, it was just this long thread of her getting it just in some massive shit for this. And what it came down to was the story behind it was that there's this therapist who wanted to start a new program of basically sending out, I can't believe I'm going to say this on a fucking podcast. She wanted to send out like child dolls out to pedophiles so that it can basically, they can focus on that. She thought that would fix the problem. And I'm literally, this therapist, I was just like, what the fuck? And obviously she then gets loads of shit from there. And just this whole situation, I was just watching the comments because literally one comment got made and it just lit up a fucking shitstorm, which obviously you can imagine why. But it's just like, how many times have you come across like cases like with the Lost Prophets singer and everything, where it's like they start down that path and it just desensitizes them to it, and they end up in like not just like the creepy fucked up crime of it, but like in some real messed up shit going on in the background as well. And that's my dickhead of the week. Just, well, the two of them together. The girl that's defending it, trying to justify it as its own sexuality, and the therapist that's in a position of power to try and help these people, that is just that has an idea like that to provide people with fucking dolls for it. I know that's like a fucking, like, it's a heavy subject. But
my cure
for
things like that is we need to medicate these sex offenders with ricin.
With writing. Like detention. Like go sit on the naughty step. I will not do that to...
No, ricin's poison.
No, yeah, it's poison.
I thought you said writing.
Yeah. No.
Give them fucking ricin. Let them writhe and river in pain for hours before they die and froth at the mouth. Yeah, there you go. There's your medication, bitch. Rotten hell.
I went heavy on that one, I know. But...
Wow. I gotta say, you guys have actually brought me back to when I first started YouTube. I'm like, damn, when it comes to this part of the thing, I try to keep it light, and maybe it's gonna be good after that story to actually keep it light, because me,
I agree.
I'm king neutral. I'm Xbot. Like I live in the United States, so I could talk about the Trump administration all day when it comes to this segment. You guys know that.
3
we can make
episodes and we got onto Trump. Fuck yeah.
All right, but here's the deal. Like I wanted to keep it gaming, all right? And me, I'm on Twitter a lot. And there are a few extremists out there on Twitter. I saw this one guy, a base station extremist, man. You talk about pony, he lives in a stable type extremist. This guy tried to put up a picture from Gran Turismo Sport, right? And then a screenshot from Forza 7. And he was like, well, man, Gran Turismo looks so much better. And he tried to play everybody on social media. See, here's the thing. When you look into it, Gran Turismo Sport has an option called Scapes, right? It's where you can take native 4K pictures that aren't in the game. No places in the game or anything like that. They just have like a photo gallery of 4K pictures, and you can take it and you can drop a car in it as a screenshot. right? And it's called Scapes. And he is trying to say that what he was putting up, which was a part of that feature, was the actual Gran Turismo Sport game, and it looks better than Forza 7. And I had to call him out. By the time I was done with him, I put up videos about what Scapes was and everything like that. I completely killed that thread. Nobody said anything after that. But I was like, really? You're going to put your love of plastic as to try to put this illusion out there that Gran Turismo looks like that? There's no way in hell. And that's kind of like my...
This week. He deserves the ricing more, I think.
Yeah, who deserves the ricing? The therapist, the Sony pony, or what was yours, Al?
The traffic warden.
Or the traffic warden. Right, Al, go on. Which one deserves the ricing?
Well, the traffic warden just needs a new job, I think. She needs a new career path. The paedophile obviously deserves ricing, and the guy that's been called out, I think Xbot's pretty much destroyed him as it is.
So he's
all
done
over
and
social
dusted
media.
anyway.
No coming back from that, is there? So I think
you would think so, man. But I've been dealing with him for years. At first it was Facebook, and now it's on Twitter. And
fucking then ricing it is. He learned his lesson. Fuck him.
Funny thing is, I know who he's on about as well because I followed that thread live. I was tuning in. I was like a Michael Jackson gif.
Yeah, I'm surprised there weren't people with the popcorn like gif at that point in time, just sitting there because it started to get good, and then I started putting the links to the actual like facts I was talking about, and then all of a sudden it went crickets. Nobody was there anymore.
Oh, can I just quickly like do a hard fucking segue? I know we're supposed to be ending the show right now, but I wanted to just throw this out, and I wanted to know your thoughts on this little story, and then we'll end, right? But apparently, China are offering someone $1 million to hunt for aliens. If you can find an alien, it sounds really daft, but it's an actual story. If you can find an actual alien, China are going to give you $1 million.
All I can imagine here is like the start of, when you see Britain or American's Got Talent, and there's like the 3 shows at the start. The equivalent of that, to, like applications towards this job of the people turning up, and they've just like got like a dead bird off the side of the road, just like, I found me an alien. Just like there's going to be so much shit. Oh.
The thing is, this is an actual job. They're going to give you the tools and the equipment you need to hunt.
Shouldn't they have people like trained to do that thing, getting these jobs, and not put it like up as a bounty?
I'm guessing that they don't have a sector, like they don't have the X-Files, but it's a government paid job to do it. So I'm guessing they've just suddenly said, well, do you know what? We're going to be the first to find this. Let's put that out there.
Let's get all.
He said the first.
Let's get all 3 billion of us on the job.
I just think, what a cool job that would be. You could say like, I'm in the Men in Black. I'm a fucking alien hunter.
I'm rich, bitch.
I'm doing it. I'll put my name down. So, if anyone finds an alien, just hit up China. There's $1 million there for you.
If anyone finds an alien, you can DM our Twitter account at Thors-Kin podcast. Nah, honestly though, guys, we're going to wrap it up here because I need to get some food, and I'm going to be single again if I carry on any longer. So, Xbot, thank you.
I'm thinking the same thing over here.
Yeah, I don't know. You've got things to go and do. So, Xbot, thanks for coming on. Do you want to sort of give people an idea of where they can catch you, what you've got going on? Because we didn't sort of get. I meant to ask you what why you're here. What do you do? So just give us a little rundown of yourself and sort of where people can catch you. What's important?
Yeah, no problem, man. First of all, the name is Xbot448. I am a gaming YouTuber. I do gaming news videos. I also do live streams. A lot of stuff on my YouTube channel, related to gaming and having fun. I've done music videos and stuff like that. But when it comes to getting a hold of me, checking out my channel, I keep it very simple. Everything is Xbot448. So whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Xbox Live, PSN, or my channel, if you're interested in talking to me, getting a hold of me, or checking out, my content, it's all Xbot448. I do have a podcast that airs on my YouTube channel every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that's called The Next Podcast. I call it the True Gamers Podcast because it is play. We have gameplay going while we're talking about the gaming news for the week. I have a real interesting panel of gamers that bring their own unique personality to the table. We get in on just about all the big gaming news discussions, whether it's hardware, whether it's games, release dates, delays, all that good stuff. So if you are a gamer, you want to check out gameplay while listening to the gaming news, you definitely want to come to my channel every Saturday at 7 p.m. And I also guest star on a bunch of other gaming podcasts like BGST. Of course, I am a part of a morning show podcast every Wednesday called Coffee, Casuals, and Consoles. That is on Oh Snap, It's Mel's YouTube channel, which is also a lot of fun to do. And I make appearances on Crossfire and GRG on Fridays. I'm just basically everywhere in YouTube gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, this guy will make you a sandwich for him and serve you like G from Fresh Prince if you ask him to. He's anywhere, literally.
Well, as you can tell from the show, man, I can't stop talking. I'll just keep going about a subject, man.
It's been awesome.
I love doing it, man. And of course, Jimmy, man, Xbox Live, me and you, we're buddies. We are Halo. We go in on Halo 5 and destroy the competition, man. And it's been a blast talking with you as well, dude.
Glad you enjoyed it. Al, thanks for being here again.
I was just can I just add quickly before we go? I just wanted to say thank you to Garrett and Justin from Garrett and Justin Triggered for giving us a mention on their episode 5. They gave us a really good mention, and they also mentioned Telford on there as well, so that's really good.
The first time Telford has ever been talked about positively.
Yeah. And we are going to be doing it. We are going to be doing a show with them soon. We're going to sort out the logistics for that. So I just want to say thank you to Garrett and Justin for that, and thank you, Xbot, for today. It's the first time I met you, and you've been an absolute gentleman. Thank you very much.
Oh, bro, it's been a blast talking with you, man. I hope you don't become a stranger after this, man. You can follow me on Twitter. You can DM me. We can shoot the shit about everything. I know we have this thing about Marvel movies and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Don't be a stranger, man.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, we'll get like you were hinting at before. Once all the next lot of Marvel goodness drops, we'll get you in. We'll put gaming to one side and we'll just get the nerd on for a couple of hours. But guys, it's been absolutely fucking awesome. Until next time, thanks. See you later.
Bye bye.